Welcome to Talking Culture, sharing the stories of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. Talking Culture is a production of the Office of Indigenous Engagement at Central Queensland University. I'm Sonya Anderson, with the voices of First Nations people who generously tell us about their country, their history, and their daily lives. Together, we're Talking Culture.
My name is Jahvis Loveday, and I am from the Durable mob of Far North Queensland, Mission Beach. But I've grown up on BUNDJALUNG country, which is the northern rivers of New South Wales, my whole life.
You're a young filmmaker, just 21 years old, and yet you've already got recognition for one of your wonderful films called Bama.
I miss my river, all that it gave to me. I miss my culture.
Bama is the second movie in like a trilogy for me. So the first one was called Home, and that was about leaving home after high school and realising that the things I hated most about my town will become the things I miss the most when I leave. And then Bama is actually, which means, well, it's the rainforest mob. So Bama is a big word for all the mob up here in Far North Queensland. It either means rainforest mob or community, and the film is based around that community sense. And it's kind of a poetic documentary that stars my little brother about how I felt when I moved away from home and feeling the fear of losing community and losing the connections that I have to the people and the country when I'm so far away from them. I've used footage that I've shot ever since I picked up a camera. So for the past 3-4 years, all that footage has gone into this film.
And so that was the inspiration for the story, your feelings.
Yeah, because I moved to Melbourne straight after school and I studied there, and it was a huge, huge culture change. Like for me, out of all of my friends, I really felt it the most, and I could see that I felt it the most because every holiday of school or university, I'd be straight home. I'd drive from Melbourne back to Byron and just be back there fishing and hanging with the family. And I kind of made the film to move through that emotion a bit more and realize that as long as you miss someone and as long as you miss a place, you'll always have them.
So you studied filmmaking?
I studied at SAE Institute, which is kind of a creative institute for film, music, design, audio. So it's really creative based and really hands-on, which was really good because I was able to hire out lots of gear and kind of just make anything and everything every weekend because I'd just always be hiring out gear and playing with the different things and just learning and using it basically.
You have your own YouTube channel. So on that YouTube channel, I've seen films of your adventures, driving north, fishing, doing things. Is that what filmmaking is for you, like adventure? Is that part of it?
Yeah. Storytelling for me is sometimes the best captured stories are unplanned, and that's what Bama is for me. And a lot of my films are documentary fiction style because sometimes I just can't plan for a story. Like stories will come and go in my life and challenges and learning. And as long as I'm filming, I might be able to capture something and turn it into a story. So I've done that with Bama. I've done it with a documentary about me sinking a sailboat in the Port Phillip Bay of Melbourne. I've done it with, heaps of different stuff. Something Deadly, which is my production company. It's all about that learning and experiencing yourself and getting out on country and just kind of bringing the stories to life by just getting out there and doing it.
So your film that you finished this year, Bangay Lore, is that another expression of your experiences?
Bangay, which means spear in the language of Durable, which is my language. It is a true story about how, for me and my family and my brothers and sisters, the only way we feel we can ever express our culture, Aboriginal culture, is when we're on stage performing it in front of an audience. Me and my brothers and sisters stopped dancing for quite a while because we felt like it was just a gimmick at that point. So Bangay Lore was actually the first time we had all got up and danced for like about 3 or 4 or 5 years, which is something huge because it wasn't just a dance in the film, it was a dance to express how we feel about it, how we just feel we're a gimmick thrown before your music festival or something like that. And we can showcase a spear dance called Billabuma, and we've learnt that from our uncles and aunties and grandfathers and stuff, and that's been passed down, which is a law, which is a tradition and a ceremony, and we can perform it on stage, but we can't actually practice it in real life. We can't go out and spearfish where we want to on our land and in our waters because that's white man law. You're not allowed to spearfish in certain waters and certain places, and that's what the film is. Because I was spearfishing last year and I got a fine for spearfishing in my river, which my family is from there. I've learnt the languages, I've done the dances there, and I felt cheated and felt let down that I wasn't able to practice that part of my culture in real life, in society.
How you been, Uncle? All good?
Oh my goodness. The days have been great. We're always good. We are the children of the dream time. You fella, my fella, always. We roam this place. Reasonable spear there.
Yeah, me and the cousins there were just dancing over at the theatre, doing that spear dance.
Oi.
All of the dancers are my cousins and my brothers and sisters, and my uncle who acts as the homeless uncle, which that's Uncle River. I've known him forever. He's amazing. He's a really great dude, and he's always on the streets playing guitar and busking around Mullum. And yeah, when I wrote the film, I was like, it's got to be Uncle Riv to do that. And I didn't give him anything, no script, no nothing. I just said, let's just talk. And we just filmed for about 15 minutes, and I grabbed bits and pieces of what he said and made a story out of it. And he did really well. It just inspired us to, and it actually taught me, like doing that and sitting down with Uncle Riv, I learned a lot about spear and spear lore and where it's come from and the Dreamtime story of it, which was really cool. So not only did we make a good film, I actually still was able to get a bit more culture and a bit more stories from Uncle Riv. It was cool.
And he reminds you in the film about how your family and your stories belong to you when you say goodbye to him. I found that just so moving.
Yeah. Yeah, it was kind of about you're already on the path. You don't need no bus, basically. We've been walking these paths forever. So just let it guide you and let it take you.
Oh, you fella. No more beef or worry. Your path already designated. You follow dream and path. Blung ancestors. No more beef or worry. They walk with you. You walk with them.
From Bangay Lore, by young actor and filmmaker Jahvis Loveday, a durable man who at just 21 has made a series of impressive short films about his family, his culture, and his story.
As of right now, we're doing a lot of different short form storytelling as well as video production. So I'm kind of perfecting and molding my craft as a filmmaker and storyteller by just telling my stories and my brother and sister's stories around me, because those are the stories I feel like I can tell the best. And eventually, once I become more confident in my craft, I want to be able to reach out and tell anyone's story. Anyone who comes forward of all First Nations walks of life and all around Australia, I want to be able to reach out and tell different stories from every single different culture there is in Australia, and basically build a massive community hub to preserve all of those stories of what we're allowed to share and what cultures are comfortable with sharing. For now, I'm just finding the roots of what we want to tell and how we want to tell the story. So we're basically just getting out, learning and traveling through, and that's what I'm doing at the moment in Cairns. Is I'm going traveling with my friends, and it's all about youth getting back out onto country and healing our minds after a crazy pandemic and coming out of it. That's the best thing for me right now and for my friends, is to just learn and reconnect with different parts of the land.
What do you think your audience takes away from your stories? when they watch them?
A lot of the comments and messages I get are really, really heartwarming because they find the things that I am actually wanting to show, which is family and community. In the basis of all my videos, that's what's at the core of it, is because I'm a very big family person. I've come from a family of 8 brothers and sisters, all raised by my mum and my uncle. So we're a big family, we're a big mob, and it's about that. It's about maintaining that connection and showcasing it and the magic that holds us together. That's what I reckon is at the basis of most of my storytelling.
Your funding so far for your filming has come from Screen New South Wales and GoFundMe. That must demonstrate to you that you already have an amazing audience of people who want to support your work.
Yeah, for sure. I think it really drives me forward to keep creating, and especially with the amount of people that in the past year have come forward and, subscribed to the channels and followed me on Instagram and just my socials and stuff is mind-blowing. Like, people actually want to support it, which is really cool because I was going to make the films no matter what, but to have that support really is like, oh, well, I can actually do this and pay my friends and stuff who also want to do this. Like, they're going to do it no matter what. We're going to all film together. But to be able to get funding definitely from like government bodies especially is awesome because we're able to professionally progress as filmmakers and storytellers. And I don't think a lot of young people know how to access that government funding. It's not as hard as you think, and it's not as scary as you think, I reckon. It's just you need that first step of where do I go?
But GoFundMe is a demonstration of public people who don't know you, just trust you, have seen your films, trust that you're going to make another good one. How does that make you feel?
Nervous. It makes me nervous because it's a lot of trust. Yeah, the GoFundMe for Bangay Lore was pretty successful, and people that I don't even know were donating hundreds of dollars, and I was like, whoa, what are they thinking? Like, come on, guys. But it just makes me like want to make the film, but also really make life around the film. So with Bangay Lore, I also do documentary series of each person that I work with. So the cinematographer, music composer, co-director, producers and stuff like that. I make a lot of content around the film and a lot of talk for the people that donate, because at the end of the day, they want to see the story, but they want to know how it's made because they're donating to me and my craft, which they know there's a story behind it. They know there's a bigger picture. So I really try and just make as much as I can, make as much noise as I can about the film and where it's going and what we're doing.
And you work really hard at this. In Bangay Lore, you're a director, a writer, you act in it, you're the producer. That is a huge job. How do you manage all that?
Yeah, I don't know. All of my other films before Bangay Lore, I did everything. It's hard as a student filmmaker to start entrusting different parts of definitely my stories, which are very personal to me, to start entrusting it to other people. And in the past, I've definitely held on to a lot of the roles and really just been like, I'm going to do them all because I can do them the best that I think and they're going to be the way that I think. Bangay Lore is still definitely a very personal story, but it's a big enough story that I do need help now, and I was able to kind of pass on the role of cinematographer and music composer. And yeah, it's definitely still hard for me to do everything, like write, direct, edit, produce, and distribute as well. But it's been good letting go of that fear of I need to keep everything close. So that film's kind of taught me it's okay to trust people and collaborate and get out there.
Yeah. So where do you think you're going from here?
I want to start making more short films, just keep going with that. So I've got another one coming up called Nara, which is my little sister. It's kind of in that home trilogy of community and stuff. So it's about how my little sister was taken away from her home and us for the past 7 years, and now she's returning, and it's about that, returning to who she was and returning to country. And yeah, it's going to be a pretty cool short film, I think, and I'm going to get her to act in it. So for now, I think I still want to continue making the stories of my brothers and sisters and myself and the people around me, and then, yeah, start branching out and definitely telling other people's stories and I'm hoping to come back and do that with you guys in Cairns and stuff like that, and different mob from up here, and really connect more to the culture that I have up here, because there's a lot of it. It's an amazing resource for me as a filmmaker and storyteller.
Do you think, though, that your films would have an appeal beyond Australia, in other countries?
Yeah, I think so. And I've seen it in the different festivals that I've gotten into, and especially for Barma, it's screened in New Zealand and America, and at the World Expo in Dubai, it was chosen to kind of represent Australian cinema. And I think because at the core of the films, even though they are First Nations, Indigenous, the core of the films and the themes and tones are very universal. So it's very based around home and community and that connection, and everyone has a connection to a place and a people.
These are timeless stories that you're telling. Aboriginal people have been here for many thousands of years, and film is only, about 100 years old. Is part of your film appeal that it's a new way to tell very old stories?
Yeah, definitely. We're just trading out a spear for a boom mic or something like that. Like, we're still telling the same stories, we're still learning the same stories, or I am, but with different tools. And to be able to kind of connect with those old stories through film is a great way, because it just means I'm creating something but also learning something, and that's what I want, is to create and learn at the same time.
So these are ancient stories in contemporary form.
Yeah, it's just a new age way of telling old stories.
Jahvis Loveday, a Jirrabul man, a young actor and filmmaker with big plans for telling stories of Aboriginal culture. This is Talking Culture, a series that shares stories of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. I'm Sonya Anderson, audio by Richard Dinnan. This series is a production by the Office of Indigenous Engagement at Central Queensland University, created with funding from the Indigenous Student Success Program.